Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop, and you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your excellent host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois, and with me is always the ghost with the most, the gas with the mask, the guy with the sky, the big bicep man, Dr. Ocho. Thanks, Rob. Good seeing you here. Yep, I was a little off on my cues, but yep, we're still here. And let's go to the man on the marquee. He's number 15 in your balls, and he's number 1 in your ass. He's Johnny Petraglia Jr.
In case you couldn't spell it, there it is. Dad's new color, courtesy of Howell Lanes. Love it. And yes, I am in Ochoville, back in New Jersey. What an absolute pleasure it is to be here.
Look at that.
We also have an additional amazing guest with us tonight.
Superb. Friend of the show and Styx extraordinaire singer.
The greatest American rock band
the one
ever.
and only Mr. Mike Val.
Yo, what's up, boys?
Gentlemen.
What's going on?
It's just a lovely day.
Another day in paradise, I think we should say. Boy, we really are lost without Rob. Holy shit.
We are lost. Well, usually what Rob would do at this point is welcome everybody. Let's first say hi to our friends in the chat. Dave Peacow, one of our regulars. Kyle Michalowski. Kyle, I already miss you, but I'm loving those videos. Keep putting those reels on Facebook. Rich, can't wait to see. I'll be there August 20th for the next Chacos event, and I'm very, very excited to do so. Hello, Tyron, as usual. Amazing. Everybody wrapping up in the queue here. So,
happy birthday, Nicole. And Karen, I got a beef with you. Apparently you were mean to a friend of who's a best fan of Ocho, so we're going to have to talk later.
We have a new guest watching on YouTube. I think her name is Heidi. Hi, Heidi. Jeff, Robert Smith, timeout.
Wait, what? John, repping the brand tonight, John. Repping the merch tonight. The old Robert Smith bowling services shirt.
I wish this said Robert Smith, 2000 U.S. Open champion, because I struck out in the 10th like a goddamn god, and I'm a perfect human.
He doesn't have
dude.
He doesn't have a
You just can't see it from me.
He doesn't have a jacket. He doesn't have the green jacket.
I had no idea he was a fan of Ocho, and I'm flattered. Thank you, Robert Smith, for being here.
Well, you're welcome. I kind of pushed that one, Doctor, to get Robert in.
Well,
it's actually Chris. Chris is the cool brother.
We even got Vinny Dice. Vinny, by the way, my main goal is to be as attractive as you physically and when it comes to talking to human beings over media. I can't. Did you Mike, are you the reason Vinny Dice is here as well?
John, of course I am. I mean, I bring the following.
We're gonna have to do this a little bit more often, you know. Vinny, I might have to call you for some tips. I'm making macaroni for Mom tomorrow, and I don't want to fuck it up, so I might hit you up after.
Don't call it gravy, call it sauce. And you're good.
I called it macaroni. I didn't.
No,
macaroni and sauce.
We're starting baby steps, man. Baby steps.
If Phyllis was here, she'd say, "Listen to Ocho," because that's exactly what it's called.
And she would say it like that. That sounds like your mom, actually. Mm-hmm. Shit.
I love it. Hell yeah! Here we go, Mr. Sperone. I'm back east. Please, let's get together and have a beer. So, without Rob being here, Rob usually introduces the show and kind of leads us into our shit for the night. But the main thing on the docket tonight, and the reason we have Mike here is, for anybody that knows Mike Val and has seen Mike's post, there was, no love lost, no shitting on anybody, but something came up and we felt it was big enough, like...
It's the Mets record or the Mets trading everybody? Because usually that's what part of his post.
Yeah, I normally start off with a Met rant, but I'm not going to touch on the Mets. You bait us in
and then you go, I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
But the reason that I definitely wanted you here tonight, aside from the obvious, is one of my good friends, David Haynes, his wife, Tisha, actually reposted your post about something that recently happened in a bowling tournament, which means this spread all the way to Vegas. So
yeah, I made this kind of like a national story, and I'm not ashamed of it either. I like to stir the pot a lot there, Doctor, but this was a flat out joke. And I'm going to call him out. And the last time I called somebody out, I didn't use the name. I'm going to use the guy's name, Andy Mitchell.
See, this is where we need Rob to throw in the imbecile of the week,
or unfettered alert, or imbecile of the week, or it could be cheater of the year.
No, this is a blatant cheater, is what this guy is. And this
give
guy,
us the rundown from the start, and
let's hear what Andy Mitchell did.
Intermittently, I may raise my hand.
And I tagged Andy Mitchell, and I even invited Andy Mitchell to tune in and see if he would type into the chat.
Is that Rob doing that?
I think Rob's always taking care of us. Always.
He does.
Rob's a little under the weather.
By the way, everybody that's in the chat, please send your well wishes to Rob. Rob is like feeling like shit.
Yeah,
he sounds like shit, and we want him to quick and speedy recovery. And Rob, we love you. And somehow, some way, he's still figured out a way to get his ass up and not feeling this good to get us on the road tonight. So, Rob, thank you. Stay safe, stay calm, get a lot of rest, drink a lot of water, and we love you, dude.
Chive on. I think he's actually fired up because this is a real topic, and he's like, "Holy shit, we got to!" And now he couldn't wait to put Andrew Mitchell's name up. So, I mean, hey, let's handle.
Well, he's not the only name we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, Mike, get us started. Give us the rundown give us the whole thing. Go.
So, the organization that's in question is called the ABT, Amateur Bowler Tour. John, you've heard of them before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, they're kind of big, like out west, right?
Yes.
So there's probably, I want to guess, like 20 or 30 like franchises of these tournaments going across the country. And locally where we are, there is one in the Philadelphia area, which they go to centers such as like La Martinique or 30 Strike now. Bolorama in Delaware, Bristol Pike, in PA, like in that Bucks County area. So this past weekend, they had one in Morrisville Lanes in Morrisville, PA, where Pat Lucci and the Lucci family own the center. Great people, great proprietor. And I kind of work with a bunch of kids out of Strathmore, John, and you met one of them last night.
Yes.
So, yeah, Jeremy. Jeremy's tuning in. He's on the train going back home. Anyway. Now, these kids that I work with and I kind of coach and whatnot, they're like between 190 and like 215. So for them, it's a handicap tournament. You're bowling on a pattern. And I'm going to be honest with you, the talent in these tournaments locally are not very good. The bowlers are abysmal. They're probably as bad as Rob feels right now. Okay? So for these kids to go there and bowl, get some pins, bowl on a pattern, it's good practice, it's good experience, and they've been pretty successful through the year so far, right? We take the ride to Morrisville Lanes this past Saturday. There's 4 of us. I'm not bowling, okay? I'm just in the back, hanging out, playing ball rep for these guys, right? In like frame 5 of game 1, Jeremy comes up to me and he goes, the guy on my pair is using a ball with a weight hole. Now, Dr. Ocho, do you know anything about the weight hole rule?
I just found out because I know a lot about weights because I can throw them around.
You do.
So when there's holes in them, they're a lot lighter and they throw the specks off. But I like things symmetrical. And, of course, now, even with the thumb, you can't even have a thumb hole if you're a two-hander or if you don't put your thumb in the ball. So you can only have the number of holes that you use for your appendage.
For your grip. Yeah, for your grip, right? So I told the kid, I said, go up to him and tell the tournament director, like, the ball needs to come out of play, right? Guy, Andy Mitchell, says, we don't follow USBC rules. Don't worry about it. Really? Well, we don't sanction through USBC. All right. So me being the prick that I am, and John can attest to this, I go to my phone and I Google, ABT, and they have a 41-page rule book on their website. All right.
Yes. Continue.
So, Rule 31CC. Would you like me to read it for you there, Dr. Ocho, what it actually says?
Is it SEE, or is it C period C?
Wait a minute. We have another.
Now, John, I want to stop my rant really quick. I would like Troy Link to know that the week of August the 14th, there will be a crisp $100 bill being presented to him at Spanish Springs Lanes in the Villages after almost 2 years of me owing him $100. Well, I've never seen him, and he doesn't have PayPal. So, Troy, you'll be getting a crisp hundy at the PBA Senior National Championship.
No interest at all. Like that's the vig on that is big time when
he hasn't. You know what? He hasn't made enough money this year, so
he can kind of ride off the 100. You know what I mean? All right. So anyway,
keep going.
So Rule 31 CC reads as follows. Are we ready for it?
Yes.
Any bowling ball failing to meet current USBC specifications for weights, hardnesses, size, numbers, and size of holes, and all of other specifications are illegal.
Yeah, keep going.
That's the rule. That's exactly how it says.
I have a follow-up with when you're done telling the story to our viewers. Yeah. I have a follow-up because obviously I'm home, so I've spent the last 2 days with Dad.
Yeah.
So I want to give you his take on it as well.
And Troy doesn't believe you that you're going to give him even a freaking red penny, so...
maybe I'll just hand Troy 100 pennies instead.
So 100 pennies is $1. What the fuck?
Okay. Get to the end of the story.
So long story short,
director, this guy's got the thumb hole in the ball.
Weight hole.
Obviously, we all know it's not allowed.
Don't work. So I step outside and I call their national headquarters, and they're based in Las Vegas. So I get this guy named Myron Mitchell on the phone, who is the CEO, I guess, of ABT.
Yeah.
And I said this to him. I told him the entire thing. I didn't tell him where I was or what branch I'm in. And he says to me, let me guess, you're in Philadelphia with Andy. I said, well, what makes you think that? He goes, well, Andy is very lax with the rules, and he bends the rules a lot. I said to Myron, so let me ask you a question. If I'm to go inside now, one of my buddies, his ball's not reacting well enough, and I hit it with a scuff pad, right? Is that allowed? He goes, well, you can't change the surface of the ball. I said, well, what difference does it make? It's in the rules, but you don't follow the rules. So what's the problem? I said, well, what's the problem with this? I said, this guy needs to be disqualified, the ball taken out of play immediately. Well,
one or the other. It doesn't have to be both. It's just one or the other.
The ball comes out of play, but the game he bowled with it should be 0.
Exactly.
So he should be disqualified for the block. The guy ends up leading the block. He leads the squad. He's automatically seeded into the finals on Sunday. Now,
give Sean Riccardi a Slurpee before you keep going.
Well, I'll see Sean more often now.
Early.
So anyway, we fast forward to Sunday. I'm not in the building Sunday. Now, Myron Mitchell said to me, just write a formal protest, take a picture of the ball, send it over to us, text it. And that's what we did, John. No reply. Do you guys want a moment? I mean, seriously.
No, I want you to keep going, and then I want to respond to it. I want the world to know what
I'm listening.
So we do exactly what this guy says, right? We do exactly what this guy says. So we go to Sunday.
And his arms are bigger, that's all.
So my buddy Chris, he finishes second. He's the runner-up to said bowler who threw the ball all day Sunday. The difference between first and second place was $375. Now, that may not seem like a lot of money, but to a 19-year-old kid who works at a White Castle, $375 is a lot of fucking money. Let's just call it spade a spade.
Him working at a White Castle is far out exceeding whatever money he makes. That's the greatest worth of work.
Exactly. So now he goes up to Andy Mitchell again on Sunday. Says, "Listen, before the title match, the ball needs to come out of play." He goes, "It's not coming out of play. There's nothing you can do about it. Bowl your game." Again, we even emailed and texted this Myron guy, who's their president, owner, whatever he is, and we've gotten no reply from him. We've posted it all over social media. Now, the question I have is, why have rules for a tournament if you're not going to follow them?
Or subjective rules. I mean, there's only you really follow a bunch of them, but then not one.
But you have a 41-page rule book, and you're throwing it out of play. What is the point then?
So no, you're throwing selective rules out of play. They clearly said you can't scuff the ball, so they're following that. Like, it's selective rule play.
And what he just said about selective rules, here's my response. So meanwhile, this guy that used the ball that had an extra hole in it won the tournament on day 2, correct, Mike?
Correct.
He won, right?
Correct.
So I presented this case to my dad last night.
Yep, I was there.
After we spent 2 hours trying to get into my parents' senior gated community, and thank you for trying your ass off.
Your parents live in the fucking CIA.
I had the time of my life sitting in the passenger seat.
It's Fort Knox over there, man.
It's unbelievable.
Get that gate open.
Seeing John's father in his pajamas at 1 a.m. is absolutely fantastic.
It's amazing. It was perfect.
I'm surprised he was wearing pajamas.
But I actually asked my dad today. I asked him about this entire situation, and my dad, he's always trying to figure out, like, he never thinks that anybody is doing something aggressively for their own benefit. He always gives everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. He's always been like that, yeah.
So my dad initially, like, his main retort was, well, like when they change oil patterns or they do this or somebody shows up X, Y, and Z, like that. If there's one constant if there's two things that have remained constant between USBC and PBA since 2008, it's this. Everybody that bowls knows that nowadays you are not allowed to, A, hit your bowling ball with a rosin bag on the exterior of the bowling ball. You're just not allowed to do it anymore.
Correct.
And every once in a while, somebody will do it, or somebody that's been bowling for a long time. I've been bowling since I'm 1968. I'm going to do this until I'm all right, guy. Go do whatever you got to do. Good luck averaging 170. Fine. But for the majority of people, nobody hits the rosin bag on the exterior of the ball anymore, right?
Not anymore.
We don't do it anymore because it's not allowed. USBC, PBA, it doesn't matter. The other rule that everybody abides by is you're not allowed to have any vacant holes in the bowling ball. Now, I don't care if we're talking about Tuesday night mixed league, we're talking about Friday night majors at Carolier where there's 3,000 in side action available, PBA, USBC Nationals, whatever it is. The unspoken agreement is your fingers have to fill the only holes in the bowling ball.
Correct.
Period. End of story. So the fact that a tournament director is made aware that, like, one of the two golden rules in bowling nowadays, forget about, we're going to X this ball because it's too soft. Or
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Compared to one-handers and yada, yada, yada. Fuck all that noise. This is one constant rule. This is a real rule. Ocho can't throw his Inferno anymore because it has a weight hole, and he's too lazy to plug the thumb hole, or the weight hole.
No, I got it plugged. The ball? Oh, my bad.
No, you understand.
That is the one. That is the one. You're right.
This is one of the two constant rules in the sport that everybody is aware of.
And it's not a new
tournament director allowed this and then stuck to his own guns for what benefit? For what fucking reason?
It's such a big FU to, like, any integrity that is left with tournament. I don't mean it like that.
Exactly.
Please don't take, like,
no,
we're on our last leg almost, and it's like now you're really just legit trying to cheat. People talk about they walled out somebody, or that now you're just legit.
The bastard stole my candy.
They did.
Keep going.
But that's what it is. Like, you just lost any bit of, at least this guy for sure. There's no ounce of credibility left in this clown's.
Ocho, can I give you a little more to this?
I'd love it, man.
So I posted it on Facebook and it got circulated. and it got into one of the Vegas groups, John. I think from David's
yes,
wife,
from
right?
The great Tisha Haynes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this guy named Rick Niedermeyer replies to the comment. Okay.
Another bowling connoisseur knows his shit.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Rick Niedermeyer is also going to be put on blast right now.
Of course.
I've been an owner of an ABT branch since 1977. There's always been guidelines, and they're modified by each branch to meet the needs of the local membership. If you have a question about how local ABT here in Vegas operates, send me a message. So my reply to him is, so allowing a bowler to compete with a ball with a weight hole, after it's brought to the attention of the director, it's okay. You may want to check Rule 33cc again. In my branch, this is what he says to me, in my branch, we try to follow USBC guidelines. So it says Rick Niedermeyer saying that if I bowl an ABT at Samstown, that I could walk 57 feet down the subway over the foul line and throw my ball into the pins? Was he tries to monitor it? The weight hole is old news, and if a bowler is found to be using a ball at the weight hole, we ask the bowler to take it out of play. Well, exactly. That's exactly right. Why is that not done here? Okay?
Okay.
If the branch, this is what he comes back with. If the branch is not following the USBC guidelines and you are concerned that this is giving the player an unfair advantage, then you can contact the national office, which we did, which we can't get an answer from. So my question to you is this. If I want to go bowl next Saturday in their next event in Philadelphia, right? What is it for me to walk in there, right, with 7 bowling balls, with 7 weight holes in them, and scuffing balls every shot?
Because you have integrity for the
sport. I have a brain too. Andy Mitchell's as clueless as the pen that I just put down.
Andy Mitchell's as clueless as Chad Murphy. The thing is,
Chad knows the weight hole rule. Unfortunately,
Mike, people always assume that bowlers are assholes.
Here's the better one.
Bowlers are not assholes. The governing body.
I feel like they give them the reason that they're assholes, and it's not their fault.
If you have any ounce of integrity, you would never do that. And honestly, the comparison here is this: if I stripe one up the fairway,
here we go. I was going to do a golf analogy.
If I stripe one up the fairway and I hit it into a divot, and I'm in the middle of the fairway, I'm going to do one of two things.
Okay.
I'm either going to hit it, or I'm going to wait for Sean Riccardi or whoever I'm playing golf with to roll up so I can say, Sean, can I move this out of this divot?
Get a ruling.
And Sean relief, right? Say, of course, it's either winter rules or you.
Well, no, you can do. I know there's play where it lies, but there's unplayable lie. It's not your fault. You hit it down the middle, like it's supposed to be the right way. You're not placing it. You're just rolling it up. That's it.
JD has a perfect point. What he just said in the comments when he says couldn't find the only one I striped today. I hit one on the screws today.
No, he wrote stripped actually. So there's got to be a different story.
I think he meant striped.
I don't know.
I striped it over the trees. Slight fade back into the fairway. I bombed it. Couldn't find it. I had to drop 3. I looked for 2 minutes and I looked at JD. I said, JD, I'm going to drop. Like, I prefer that. So I think that anybody with integrity
and you had to call it on yourself too. That's the other thing.
Of course.
That's the most
and
amazing
to
thing.
me, it's sexier to do that. So at least when JD goes home, he says, when you play golf with John, John's fun to play with, and he also plays by the rules.
Go to Stephanie's comment in the chat. See Stephanie's comment? And
Stephanie says, I'm going to
answer this.
I didn't. You answer it. I'll read it.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I didn't realize people still had balls with weight holes in a bag they actively bring with them. That alone is weird to me.
I'm the most talented amateur of everything, and I knew that. I should know that there's no weight holes. Knew that.
Here's the answer, and this is what's great.
Exactly.
So hold on. So the guy in question, he also said, I haven't bowled in 5 years. This is directly going to Stephanie's point. I haven't bowled in 5 years, he said. So now, if you win one of these,
I like what David just said. By the way,
yeah, I've done it too. I played them both ways. I played them both ways.
Nice comment, David. And thanks for coming into YouTube. Sorry to cut you off, Mike.
I played them both ways, but he's right.
So if you win one of these crooked ABT tournaments, which, by the way, we'll never go to again, right? You get a champion shirt with your name on the back of it, the center you won at. I see JD's comment. We'll talk about that later.
And it was a storm ball, too.
It was.
I thought Thumbhole, like his fly was down or something like that. I thought it was something like different.
I was bowling a 14-year-old kid for 1,000 a game, and I lost.
Yeah. Anyway, so you win. You get your name on the back of the shirt, the date in the center you bowled in, right? This fucking guy had the name shirt on with his name on it. Champion, let's say Carolier Lanes, right? From 2021. So let's do some basic arithmetic here, boys. It's 2023. This idiot said he hasn't bowled in 5 years, but he won a tournament in 2021. So what are we doing here?
He's a flat out liar too. That's the other thing.
Wait,
he's a cheat.
No, he can't see that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
He said the guy bowled in. He's got a tournament shirt that says 2020 winner. He said he hasn't bowled in 5 years.
Oh, ABT.
Yeah. So
it's ABT.
So they've been letting this go for years.
No, it's called the Amateur Bowlers Tour.
Oh, gotcha.
Now, you know what? Let me tell you something about the ABT. I appreciate what the ABT does for amateur bowlers. I really do. They allow bowlers that are mediocre to perform at like
higher
levels for a lot of money. There was
and you don't have to do math like these guys are saying.
Guys, for all the viewers, when I say this, I'm identifying this woman as such because this is what she is. Little small Filipino woman, probably 70 years old, averages 160. She's won more $10,000 checks than me and my dad combined in ABT.
Dude, there's a lot of them out there. They live for this stuff. Yeah.
Which is fine. It's perfectly fine.
So
ever once. Go ahead, Mike. Go.
So for the level of play that my friends are at, right? They're not at the level of bowling like regionals, okay? Or bowling against those caliber guys. They're going to bowl against these guys to get their feet wet, right? And now they're getting screwed because the tournament director is basically scumbagging them. And the whole organization is scumbagging everybody because they basically said to you, what we're following doesn't matter. And that's wrong. Let me ask you a question. Do you think if they bowled on tour, if EJ Tackett rolls up with a Venom Shock, he has a weight hole on the side of it, how long do you think it is before that ball's taken out of play?
13
seconds?
Second shot of practice.
Gone. Goodbye. Off the rack.
Of course.
What if you go to nationals? They weigh him in at nationals. That's not getting past the scale.
I couldn't. If Stephanie's still in the chat, I couldn't get into. Oh God, John, chill out. Not
Easy,
you,
John.
Me, John.
Easy, John.
I don't even know who you are. Where's Ocho? I'm not even gonna bark up that tree. USBC wouldn't even let you through the doors if you didn't have an F. At least. Thank you, Rob. I told you Rob's still here.
I'm still in there.
No, USBC has their guidelines and their rules, and they suck, but at least the only thing I'll give USBC is they have figured out a way to shuffle tens of thousands of people through an arena consistently in a time frame that's somewhat constructed. That's the only thing I'm going to give them. I am going to also say in this same exact breath that I hope they choke on their own semen. I'm sorry if there's any kids here, but I actually meant what I just said. So I hope John Sperlin's here and he toasts me at some point.
Let me ask you, John, why is every tournament director either shady like that or
because
the opposite?
They're operating in a sport that's blue collar and there's no money involved, dude. There's no prestige anymore.
Is Robert Calabrese watching? Because if Rob Calabrese is watching this,
they're trying to figure out a way to milk every single person that actually loves bowling for every dollar they have. With all due respect, I get it. That's kind of what happens in corporate America on every level. It's the reason our rents go up. It's the reason that my fucking utility, my fucking energy bill was $800 before I moved here. It was $500 last year. It was $800. Like, everybody on top is trying to figure out a way to just keep taking money from people underneath. I'm not going to get political right now.
No.
But I am going to tell you right now that bowling is kind of that way, especially at the USBC level.
You're explaining what
it's just like Bolero, dude. They literally take every single bowling alley out from underneath the greatest places in the world that created some of the best people, the best relationships, and they're like, ooh, I can line my pockets with this shit. And we all sit there and we have to deal with dusty approaches, not manicured bowling lanes. We have to deal with all that.
Serious shit. No,
I'm
I'm going to go off topic.
I'm going to get a beer.
It might
All right,
be,
go ahead,
it might be
Ocho.
like a complicated question, but how, again, amateur style, how did that happen? We had the ABC, right?
Yeah.
And then, so the USBC was basically formed out of the ABC? Or?
Yeah, it was like the new, they basically put like ABC.
So there was always a governing body.
Correct.
But then did the governing body all of a sudden, I put them in the fridge. Did the governing body then just start? It's almost like I feel like it's like the government, like they're just taking more tax money, and they're basically you're getting less and less as you're paying more and more. And they're like, well, of course we have to now trim the trees and we have to mow the grass, and of course we have to oil the lanes or have the proprietors pay for something. How did they get more and more out of the bowlers by providing less and less? Like because they're voted in.
Well, explain this. So your sanction fees are going to be going up in 2 years. All right. So public knowledge, the USBC is raising your dues in 2 years. What do you get for your $27 a year?
League bowlers there are millions of league bowlers that pay them and don't even realize it's even going to anything.
Exactly. Right? It's going in their pocket. You don't get anything. Years ago you bowl 300, you get a ring every year, or you get a watch every year. You get nothing now.
Used to be get $300.
Zero. So now I'll give you another one.
This is good on.
Am I good, Ocho, to rant a little more?
Go for it, man. Because that's what it was. Like just like how they're able to still do it when doing such a bad job of it is.
How about we go into we're on the tournament director kick right now, right? I know Dansbury's in the chat, and I don't know if Rob Calabrese is in the chat as well. This affected Rob.
Pull up Dansbury's comment because
he had a couple. John had a couple.
Spent some time with him and Dad last night, and what a pleasure seeing the UBA champion. So let's see what he has to say.
Great watching Dad hold the belt too, by the way.
Mike, you read this one.
Who gets
made that
me?
Belt, by the way, tell me later.
Yeah, what gets me is how the rule is in the book. The national guide for the organization says the ball should have been removed by the tournament director, and the tournament director does not follow the rule. White guy emoji like this.
Exactly. And the worst part is apparently we're not allowed to say shit about it.
And I'm not holding back.
If every tournament was run the way Tisha Haynes runs a tournament, or I'm trying to think somebody out here that
how about the guys at Chaco's?
Like
Greg Tack.
Eric
Chaco,
Konrowski
Greg
and Stephanie.
Tack.
Run a tournament like Eric and Stephanie or Tisha Haynes, or just fucking do the right thing. What are you doing, dude? Fuck, I'm so pissed about this. I don't even know.
How about this one, Ocho? So this past weekend in Philadelphia, a gentleman by the name of Greg Porter runs some tournaments. Okay? And this is where I want Dansbury and JD to kind of chime in here, but I want to make sure I get all the correct information. So they ran...
Darian just said Sherry. I totally didn't say Sherry Morgan White, another amazing tournament director. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about? Yeah.
Probably.
Like those kind of people should run everything. Keep going, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah. So Ocho, there's 4 tournaments this weekend in Delaware and Philadelphia. Okay? So how about brackets on Friday night at Bowl-O-Rama in Delaware? They had a problem with them. Instead of rerunning the brackets Friday night, they put a guy who bowled 269 the first game in at 190.
Oh,
Instead of rerunning them, they fixed the brackets today. Today's Wednesday.
Oh my God! That's
Today's Wednesday.
NCAA tournament, like having like the number one versus, and then like, oh, we didn't mean that or something.
First off, by the way, guys, for anybody that's actually not a bowler or is a bowler that wants to get in brackets, let me tell you something real quick. An 8-man bracket at $5 a person is
$40.
$40 bracket. They pay $25 and $10 typically for 1 and 2, which means for every bracket, the person running them already gets $5.
Correct.
The greatest job in the world is running brackets.
Oh God, yeah.
The greatest job in the world, because not only do you make $5 a bracket, you usually get tipped by the guys that win all the money, right?
Yes, sometimes.
If you have the balls to fucking take somebody's money in brackets on top of what you're already taking. Listen, I'm no goddamn saint when it comes to money, but I definitely have my boundaries, you know? Fuck, man.
So this guy. Oh, by the way, on top of that, another tournament director.
I gotta text Stephanie and make sure I sound okay.
Ocho, how about a 1-in-14 cash ratio for this guy's tournament? 1-in-14.
How many bowlers are there?
Not that many. 1-in-14. And he's taking 5 off the top. There's problem with the brackets. He's not fixing it until
win
today.
About $150, and then that's kind of I'm exaggerating, obviously, but like, but do people even think that? It's like I don't know if like they even. Again, we were saying before, the guy had bad math. The guy who said he hadn't bowled in 5 years.
So let's do some math.
He had a 2020 shirt that said winner or something.
Yeah. So let's do some math here. This was on Friday night. This is the guy Greg Porter. I'll call him out too.
That's what I do.
Ocho, you're a smart guy. You're
rounding it up at 2. Yeah.
Ocho's a doctor. 200,
Dr. Ocho, of course.
280 entries.
Lining up Hello Sunshine placemats right now.
It's mild OCD. We just like to
both
do it.
are like, no, the tops have to touch. They have to touch. So the bottom.
That's the one I'm talking about, Stephanie.
Right.
That's the exact one I'm talking about.
I didn't realize you were doing it, and I was doing the same thing.
Yeah. I'm like, what is he doing? It's straighter this way. This way.
And I'm going along with the crack of the
See the crease? We gotta close the crease. We'll be right back.
That can't be
This is
explained.
insane.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Rob, end the show. No, I'm just kidding, Rob.
Yeah,
You're doing
please.
a great job. This is
Yeah, I got to go back to John's parents' house and get in the gate.
Well, actually, you know what? I wanna kind of flip the script right now and then come back to this because honestly, when it's all said and done,
seems the whole world is out to get you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rob.
And nothing seems right. Sinking feeling inside. The whisper has turned his back. All right, we shouldn't probably. Can't let it bring you down. No, you got to fight.
Hey, Ocho. You got a piece of.
Tried, but you can't.
This is fucking pathetic.
All right, what's up, Ocho?
You got a piece of paper over there?
It's when you're down that you gotta get up.
Del Picard. Del.
Del's a good guy. Del's a real good guy.
He's the best. He's always been the best.
Del's phenomenal.
You want
So
a
hang
piece
on,
of
hang
paper?
on.
You want
Yeah.
some paper?
Yeah, I want you to get a piece of paper. I'm going to give you some numbers, and I want.
While he's getting numbers, I wanna take at least 10 minutes to talk about the great, wonderful day that I had these last 2 days. So, for everybody in the chat, I'm back in New Jersey, and
Oh, man.
I'm moving to Dalton, Pennsylvania, with my friends Stephanie and Eric. But in the meantime, these last 2 days, so obviously everybody that has been to Carolier or knows Carolier, I'll never call it Valero, North Brunswick. I just won't do it.
Nope.
But last night, I begged my dad to come to Carolier with me and watch League. And from lanes 47 to lane 78, we had people like, I don't know, Ron Alberti, Steve Sajax, J.D. Santalucia, Joe Krakovich. It was
Dr. Joe Krakovich. Dr.
plethora of the Carolier legends, and somehow, we all congregated together. It was the greatest night ever. My dad showed up. Mike showed up. It was the best night ever, and it followed through today because today myself, Mr. Jeff Kubanak, J.D. Santalucia, and my dad played some golf at Cranberry. And as we got done and went in to get a goddamn pork roll, egg, and cheese because that doesn't exist on the West Coast, got bombarded by little Armin Federici, little NJ Hall of Famer, followed by Bill Bleacher and Ben Bleacher. I got tackled by all three of them. Had to take all these pictures, and you know what, guys? With all due respect, the best thing, I always say this on, I always say that you meet all the best people in the world when it comes to bowling, and they can totally change your entire outlook on life. And these last 2 days, all the memories were rekindled from when I was 13. Now I'm almost 40, and it was just like everybody from Carolier coming together. And Mike drove me home last night.
It was like a homecoming for everybody last night.
So with all the shit that we talk about when it comes to bowling, I think the reason we talk shit about bowling is because we love bowling so much and we hate fucking cocksuckers that try and steal our money. Or just don't abide by rules. Sorry about cursing again. I know we got that one guy that says, I would watch your show more if you didn't curse. I'm like, yeah, go suck my dick. Sorry. Any kids here? Everything I just said, I apologize.
I'm blaming
Ocho, you in?
Yeah, man, coming in.
Sorry, I just got distracted, like completely. I'm speechless right now.
Well, we actually did bowl last night.
What I was trying to get across was like, I love the fact that we all somehow, some way congregate here. We're allowed to be stupid. We're allowed to be fun, and we're allowed to talk about real shit. Forget the pros. The pros are amazing. They are light years ahead of us.
That's their job, though, dude.
Exactly. My job is to try and be nice to everybody that took care of my family and paved the path along the way, and at least take care of the people that have taken care of me along the way in the sport that we all love, right? That's the main reason we're here. So please, when I get off topic, keep that in your mind. And by the way, Del Picard, Del, I haven't seen you since, I think, what's that bowling alley in Cranston, Rhode Island? Back-to-back center. And speaking of like a great bowling person, anybody that doesn't know Del Picard or Jim Rogers, these are just good people. Everybody in this chat right now, they're just good people. Everybody's here for the exact same fucking reason. And the reason we come here is you're allowed to speak your goddamn mind, and we're allowed to shit on the governing body when they want to shit on us, right?
Troy, I'll talk to you in Florida about that.
There's
Troy.
Rob.
Can I chime in on my deathbed here for a second?
Sir.
It's the Grim Reaper.
Everybody in the chat, he's still here trying to...
He's running the show.
Everybody, best wishes to Rob. Rob, you have the floor. Go.
If it wasn't for bowling, I wouldn't be here talking with guys like you and Ocho and be able to meet class acts like Mike Val
That means
and Troy Lynn and Stephanie. And everybody we've had on the show. Bowling was such a big part of my life growing up. Bowling since I was 6 years old, growing up in the Northeast, bowling out of Bradley Bowl, which used to be a regular stop on the tour, and now it's a fucking Dave and Buster's or some shit. It's fucking stupid, but without bowling, like, it's unlike any other sport. I don't know people from fucking baseball leagues that hang out or fucking softball league. You know what I mean? Like, bowling is just a unique thing, where some of your best memories come from. And, I owe a lot to the sport.
It's
even
the
though
camaraderie is what it is, Rob.
Yeah,
really,
it
that's
is.
where it comes down to. Like, where you just keep saying they're awesome people. And
even though I don't bowl competitively anymore, like, I still owe so much to the sport that I love. And through Johnny has actually rekindled my love for, again, and watching old tournaments and stuff like that, and being able to talk about a sport that I gave so many years to growing up. So just to piggyback on what Johnny said, like, bowling is a big part of everybody's lives, and the people on the outside will never, ever understand.
Absolutely, Rob. Great point.
Rob, can I follow up while you're still here?
Yeah.
First off, hi to Tom Matthews, because Tom not only flew out to Vegas when I had a really, really hard time a couple of years ago, but Tom's always been here for me and through bowling. So I definitely want to make sure that Tom knows that I see him in there. But Rob, what you just said is exactly why bowling is so great. And it's so sexy what you just said. And I think that everybody in the chat appreciates what you just said and understands it and relates to it in some way. And I think it's sexy. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of amazing. And I love that you're here right now. And I think that everybody in the chat, I want to let you guys know something. Ocho and Rob did shows long before I jumped on board. Mike, I'm so sorry to cut you off. I promise we'll get to the next segment shortly. But
this is good, John. Let it go, man.
Rob and Ocho have done several shows for a long time. Ocho is my chiropractor, was my chiropractor for
you lived
20 years.
The wrong place.
And I would have never met Rad Rob or Dead Rob.
Dark. It is Dead Rob. Shit.
This whole shit would have never happened. And everybody that knows me knows that I'm very inconsistent. I would have never committed to something this long, and thank God for Rob. So I love that you're still here right now, and I really want you to be healthy, and I really want to go drill a swamp monster with an extra hole and not tell anybody about it.
I appreciate it, and I love you guys. I really
love
do.
that you're still here, dude. That's awesome, man. All right, then. Fuck, he's got me.
How do you do that? I know.
Johnny's starting to cry now.
like, dude, you just that's what that
Mike,
was.
what do we do? What
That
do we
was
do?
like the national anthem right there.
Wait a
Like
minute.
seriously, you just that was like that
Hey,
was
Rob,
beauty. That was,
Rob, if you're still here, because I know
He's-
JD is in the chat, is there any way we can get JD in here? Because I would really like to talk about his meteor when he was really, really skinny, and I also want to talk about the 78 that he shot today.
What about the fact that he couldn't beat us with his opposite hand last night?
yeah, 78.
He kicked the shit out of me playing golf left-handed. He's
78
not even
trim.
fucking left-handed. You want to talk about embarrassment? I'm a natural lefty. He plays golf lefty and beats me by 20 strokes. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
What'd you end up shooting?
I can email a link.
98.
If you message me at the email, I can.
Maybe 108. My dad beat me.
I thought you were keeping score and you.
Here, Oaks, this is for you.
That's me.
Yeah.
Nice.
By the way, in
All right.
case anybody's wondering, JD did go 1 out last night in the second frame.
JD, his swing today was so good. I kept telling him all day. If you ever watch Rory McIlroy swing a golf club, everybody always used to say to me when my thumb was in the ball that I had the longest flat spot ever. Like through the zone, my hand maintained a certain spot from coming down the downswing through the follow through. JD's golf swing, he figured out a way to be like McIlroy, where he goes this way. He never, ever, ever brought his hands up, and it was like belt buckle back, belt buckle forward. Everything's going to follow. He looked so good today. I was so impressed. I was actually impressed. It's very rare that I'm impressed by somebody's consistency on the golf course. Obviously, we're all, tempted by, oh my God, he hits it so far. Oh my God, it's so amazing. He hits it so far. But like JD played a great round of golf today. It was impressive to watch.
He is quite the athlete.
All right, so the next story, Mike.
You got a piece of paper there, boys?
I do.
Let's take some notes here.
Okay.
Friday night, they have a total of 54 teams bowling. They took in $15,120. That's the intake.
Okay.
You know what they paid out?
$63.30.
$11,600 and $2,200 goes to lineage. So there's $1,250 left over. Let me ask you a question. Where's that money going? Next event. $10,080 collected.
Let me see if Stephanie messaged me outside the chat so I can actually provide a good response. Stephanie always takes care of me.
Let's just call a spade
She
here.
wrote, sounds awful. How's it going?
They collected, right? $1,200, $780, and $1,200 in their 4 events. That was their leftover money. So that's $4,300 this guy made off of the bowlers this weekend, Ocho.
That's just a normal thing. It almost sounds like. It sounds like the money goes to money. Really.
But that's wrong. Why?
We know that, of course.
We know.
And on top of that, he's scamming the brackets. He's putting people in that, let's say this. Guy shoots 770. He's in all the handicap brackets, 66 that you had. You handed him $10. $10 and told him that's all he got back. But people shot 100 pins less than this guy and got back hundreds, if not thousands. He told you the score was wrong, and he said, I can't make the people wait any longer, but it's okay to make this poor guy wait 5+ days. Mind you gave him a 193 scratch score instead of his 269 that he bowled. After arguing, you told him, here's the bracket money back for now, and you'll have it fixed by Monday. Well, it's now Wednesday, he fixed it. Another guy, Quentin Collins, shoots 820 in 40 scratch brackets.
You mean Q?
Q, yeah, Q.
Call him by his real name.
Sorry, Q.
He's a legend.
Q shoots 299 the first game. One person in the building beats him in the first game. Guy shoots 300. He's only, the 300 guy is only in 10 brackets. You paying attention here?
You bet.
The guy that shoots 300 is only in 10 brackets. Second game, Q goes 260. The third game, he bowls 250. And he's only in half of 40. How? He's beating everybody in the building.
Wait a second. He should be up on everybody right there.
Thank you.
Right.
Exactly. Ridiculous.
Rad Rob, if you're here.
The tournament directors have to make a dime. I understand that. I run tournaments too, John. If you take expenses out, that's one thing.
You
Is
are
there supposed to be?
you are the tournament
No, but
director.
so do they have a calculation of the percentage they're supposed to make?
Rad Rob.
It was supposed to be 2,500. It was supposed to be guaranteed, and somebody's saying he paid out 500 instead of 25.
Yes, Johnny.
I want to bring JD Santalucia in here
Okay.
for the next 30 minutes.
Is he in?
I want to bring in JD.
I need his email so I can send him a link.
Mike, I got a text message that says turn on the light, and I did already, and they said do it again. I don't have any more lights.
Turn it off and on?
Turn on the light.
Yeah, like the light's on.
What are you
I
talking
hope you're
about?
still listening. Text me. Wait a minute.
3D.
Pull up Jonathan Dansbury. Mike, can you... Here, I'll send you JD's number, and then
I have JD's
send
number.
him the link. I want to get JD in here real quick. I don't want you to leave, but you can leave right now for a little while. Let me take over this shit for a minute.
Do that. Yeah.
By the way,
Ocho has
guys,
to go. Ocho has to
I was supposed to do a plug tonight. I'm actually going to do it for my dad. My dad has no idea what a plug is, but my dad goes out of his way every single Monday night, I think it's Monday nights, to go to Howell Lanes and try and train kids to bowl where Rev Rates is. And so every year they send out a Johnny Petraglia shirt like this and a Parker Bowden shirt like this, and they change colors. And I'm not selling shit or all that other kind of stuff, but at some point I would like everybody to at least give Dad a thumbs up, because Dad doesn't give a shit about money. He gives a shit about growing the sport, and he always has. And the fact that you're all here, Larry, good to see you. Russ Michaud, oh my God, Russ, I miss you, dude. Sorry to totally intercept what I was saying just now, but like the fact that we get the opportunity to talk to bowlers while we do this is honestly our main goal, Mike, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
And my dad's main goal is to make sure that the youth preserve the sport that we all love. So with all due respect, I'm sorry about all the garbage I may spit, that we all may spit. We're always doing it for the fucking benefit of the sport, guys. We already have enough people like Chris Barnes, one of the greatest bowlers in the goddamn world, and Beef Stew to tell you about lane conditions and all that stuff. We're here to let you guys know that whatever you do, whatever you're chasing after, I promise we've all been through it, and you can always come here and talk to us about it. And I have no goddamn clue where this came from, but I found this random bottle. No. God,
No. Bad. That's bad. No, bad.
I'd rather drink out of this. But so, Mike, we've talked about. I want to talk about something else. I want to totally flip the script, and I want to talk about how I know we're living in the presence of a legend in Jason Belmonte, but I don't think that I brag about Anthony Simonson enough. Forget about EJ. Everybody knows EJ's the greatest bowler we've seen, period. Like, you can't say anything else other than EJ's amazing, right? But Jesus Christ, how good is Anthony Simonson?
He's the anti-two-hander.
How good is Anthony Simonson? Dude, I watched him bowl 840, those back three at the Lucy.
Unbelievable.
The only reason I even watched the Lucy was because I'm going to shout this out loud. My fucking doubles partner, Stephanie, bowled with Brandon Runk. And I think they finished somewhere in the top 20.
Yeah, they got a check. Yeah, they made the cash
maybe
round,
19.
right? Yeah.
So first off, to Stephanie, Brandon, I get it. Like, he's used to it, but my girl Stephanie never fucking missed a spare. Just even keeled the entire time. Every single game she bowled, to me, is the sexiest thing in the world. It was, I'm talking to her husband Eric, or her fiance, or the man in her life,
her friend,
the greatest man I know, Eric. I'm fucking talking to him the entire time, and Stephanie never bowled lower than 190 and never higher than 250. But every single game, just perfect. Then makes it to the finals. She's in, she's out, and just, to me, it was the coolest thing in the world to watch. So obviously my eyes were drawn to the Lucy, which, by the way, anybody that's interested in bowling a tournament, bowl the Lucy Bono Strike Out Breast Cancer. Please, guys. It's the greatest event in the world. It's the sexiest thing in the world. And when I get to watch my USBC doubles partner bowl that good and like throw exclamation points at her husband, it's the sexiest thing in the world. But the thing I'm getting at is by watching Stephanie, I got to watch Simo. And Stephanie said to me earlier in the week, she says Simo's from a different planet. Now, I already know that, so does everybody else. But if you guys want to go watch the archives for the Lucy, when Simo and Danielle McEwen won that tournament, I want you guys to watch where everybody in the building is playing and then watch where Simo is.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that is the separation of who's good and who's great.
You know what? He's kind of like a magician in a weird way. Like I always said, Duke is the greatest guy I've ever seen throw a bowling ball.
And he knows how good he is, right, Mike?
Exactly, absolutely. But Simonson is playing 9 where Belmo is playing 40. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, new to the chat, 1997 high roller runner-up throwing a meteor. Also,
he did beat Chad Murphy on that show.
One of the other greatest people you will ever meet, the gentleman right below me. Everybody, please say hello to Mr. JD Santa Lucia. Sir.
Hello, JD.
What's up, fellas?
Have you sat in any gum today?
I have not yet.
Stop that. Don't do that, Michael. Hi, Tammy. How's Justin? Let us know in the chat.
JD did beat Chad Murphy on that show, John.
We found JD.
I did.
Back in here, Ocho. Ocho wants to come say hi to JD.
No, I just wanted you to. I don't want you to be flattered to see me because I know what a big fan you are, and I can't help that. And
Rose Amelia's comment.
It's not your fault at all. Good for you. Good to see you, buddy.
Look at Rose Amelia's comment.
Did you really shoot 78 today?
Tony Rose Amelia's here?
No, I shot 84.
Oh, he was way off. He was started with an S, though.
Says JD looks good on camera.
No, not bad.
Oh, wait. I wasn't supposed to say that. That's my bad.
Totally.
So
Johnny, that may rival the line. That may rival the line that guy at Carolier said to your father last night.
Oh, my God.
JD, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard anybody say before.
Poor Mickey. Hi, Mr. Petraglia. How are you? What do you average?
Oh, that guy.
After he washed his hands 4 times after taking a piss.
8 inches or something like that, like something smarky.
He didn't. So, JD, why are you here? What's up? What do we want to talk about? You start. Go.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Well, why don't we talk about the guys in Philly, JD, that robbed everybody this weekend?
Yeah. Like, what's up?
How do you bowl that
let's go
Friday?
Back to the original start of the convo. So, what's up?
So, how do you bowl that Friday and yet still bowl the events on Saturday and Sunday?
Right out of the freaking bottle. Jesus. All right. Well, it's unfettered.
JD's here.
Rob, unfettered alert. Go ahead, JD.
Oh, Brad, give me a drink.
There's nobody
keep
there.
going.
Come on.
Keep
Are you
going.
kidding
Like,
me?
But how do you do that?
Keep going.
Why would you still bowl it? Like everybody wants to bitch and moan, but yet you still
But I
bowl
feel
it.
like you'd
So
think, like maybe they would do the right thing, though, right? Or no? I don't know.
You would think.
not after that.
And the end-all, be-all was the kid with the illegal ball won the tournament, and nobody said shit, right?
Well, that's one thing.
We're trying to make it not happen again, right? That's the whole goal.
How does that even happen?
I want to read Tammy's comment. By the way, JD, Tammy's son, I think, is the same age as your son, and Tammy is not only one of our most trusted and awesome viewers, but her son is as badass as your son. So, Och, can you read Tammy's comment before JD keeps talking? Maybe she's got something to say here.
Say a word.
Just kidding. Doing good. We're back from Junior Gold. He didn't do well, but had a good time. Next week is his birthday. While in Indianapolis, he's invited along with your dad and Alexander to be on Fox and Friends. Since Justin and Alexander helped raise money for the BVL, he's excited and cannot wait.
So what Tammy's talking about is National Bowling Day on Fox 5. For anybody on the East Coast, my dad has to be in New York, and I'm assuming Tammy's talking about the same thing for National Bowling Day with the Laspinas. So tune into Fox 5 on... Tammy, can you tell us the dates so we can tell everybody in the chat, please?
I think Dad said it was like next Saturday, wasn't it?
And I'm also going to talk to everybody else in the chat. Right below Tammy's chat is Larry Stella. And Mike and I talk about Larry Stella quite frequently. And as big of a biography as Mike and I are, there is one gentleman, aside from Derek Michaud, that's got more bowling knowledge than all of us combined, and it's Larry Stella. Larry used to be...
100%.
Anybody that knows Parker Bone used to actually bring Larry to numerous TV shows, and any question you have about bowling, anybody that's a fan of bowling, reach out to Larry Stella. I promise he has the answer without looking at Google, without looking at his
Let's see how good he is. What spare ball did JD use on that TV show? See if Larry can figure that one out.
I remember the strike ball was a meteor.
I know the spare ball.
I don't remember the spare ball.
Larry Stella was at every tournament.
Never throws a spare ball. Wait a minute. You got me stumped on this one. I don't even know what to say right now.
Larry Stella was at every tournament when we used to bowl on the weekends.
Yeah, and he was the best fan and the best person ever. Always
is.
All right, so...
He's never going to guess that spare ball, Mike.
I think I'm the only one besides you that knows that one.
It might have been the only one ever in existence.
Didn't throw a spare
Don't
ball.
they all go straight? So why do you have to make different ones anyway?
Because this is important, and I think that he's going to do it.
All right.
Tammy, August 12th sounds good. Del, what did Del say? Did the spare ball have an extra hole?
Yep.
Which one of the Mike's thing? I don't need that.
Hook down the middle of the lane.
All right, so this is the point that we need Rad Rob. So while we're waiting for Larry Stell, I'm gonna take over the job. I'm gonna take over the job of Rad Rob, and I want to talk about the senior tour real quick. I want to talk about Troy Lynn. I want to talk about. First off, I want to talk to everybody about the lefty-righty bullshit.
There we go.
Don't give me shit about it, because the only three lefties in West Virginia are Parker, Couch, and Troy. So do me a favor, anybody that wants to shit on lefties throwing purple balls, suck my dick. Going forward, the best part about this is I get to watch my best friend for one of my best friends for 20 plus years work his ass off to be at the same level and pinnacle with two of the greatest ambassadors the sport's ever seen, which is so sexy to me. And also, I want to give a shout out to somebody that nobody knows in the chat, and his name is Mike Harder. Mike Harder and I have bowled league against each other since I moved to Vegas, and he's led a couple squads, and he's doing work on the senior tour, and I definitely appreciate what he's doing out there. So, Mike, if you're listening, or anybody that loves you, Mike, my main goal right now is to let everybody in the bowling world that actually gives a shit about bowling know that we're here for them. You know,
let them know about Ocho's.
I would also like Chad Murphy to know that I'd like to shit on his face. Mm-hmm. Is that cool? That's gentle enough. Jen, thank you for what you did. Don't ever do that to me again. I'm talking to Ocho's wife. I am definitely getting uncovered. Thank you, Rob. Mike.
Shit on his face or in your mouth if he's hot enough?
What's the difference? What's the difference? Now. All right, Mike. Does Troy and JD as well? Does Troy Lynn win Player of the Year?
There's one other guy I think that gives him a run for the money this year.
Who?
Janowitz.
Okay, I like that. Do you think?
But he didn't bowl everything, did he?
He is.
Did Janowitz bowl everything?
Yeah, JJ's bowl. Yeah, JJ has an exemption to bowl. Kegel gave him time off now.
Heck yeah. And I hope
JD, how good is Janowitz? Honestly, I mean, is he?
Janowitz pretty good.
Little Mike, Rad
he can
Rob,
bowl.
do you have a Chariots
always
of
has.
Fire theme real quick for John Janowitz?
JJ's always been good, right?
Yes.
You mean Chariots of Fire for Janowitz? I'm doing this hoping. I'm hoping it shows up real fast.
We'll get something.
I was running.
Hold on. It's still.
No, I thought Rad Rob was still here.
He might be. It's just by the time he loads it up, but just go ahead.
Put it over here. I need this to play while we talk about Janowitz.
Sounds like Ken Patera's coming in the ring, JD.
Oh, God.
John Janowitz is the definition of class. And if there is somebody that trumps Troy Lynn for Player of the Year, I hope it's JJ.
Well, we say JJ wins Rookie of the Year.
JJ is the only other person aside from Tim Mack that everybody says, oh, I love that man. I love that man very much. So I'm going to sign an autograph for Don Danowitz right now so I can remember this day because I've only been on the East Coast for 2 days. But Troy, I'm sorry. You have some work to do and I'm coming to Florida. And Russ Michaud is in the chat. And Russ is the guy that I envy and I still want to eat steak tips with in New Hampshire. Hi, Russ. But I'm signing you this autograph, JJ.
JD.
Wait a minute. Rush Michaud, that's the lefty.
That is the legend.
From Neba.
And he's been jacked for his entire life, and he's handsome. He's such a nice-looking man.
I may or may not know him.
Yes, you do.
Probably a solid.
Hardy's place. Come on.
Is he as jacked as John Kirker?
Ooh, probably not. Kirker's a big dude.
Kirker's a big dude.
Kirker's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
Michaud's not a lightweight, but Kirker's a big dude.
He has to take care of me in jail. Like,
wait, in which
you can
way?
do whatever you want as long as nobody else does. Russ Michaud is the kind of guy that I would take to a Jackie Chan film so he could say, I can do it better. The difference, you know?
So you would take this guy like in a bar fight. You want him on your side in a bar fight.
100%.
I wouldn't fight either of those guys with a 10-foot pole. They're amazing. I love where this combo is going. I love it. This is a great.
Johnny, remember how you said Brandy is the best possible wife anyone could have?
Yes.
Watch this. Honey, I'm empty. Let's see how this one goes in a minute.
There's going to be a bottle smashed over his head.
Yeah.
By the way, Ocho's wife is clapping for what you just said. Ocho's wife. And they have the most beautiful baby, by the way, guys.
Or the Yankee game.
Gabriella is the most... That's her name, right?
Shit. Is that her name?
I think so.
Fuck.
The most beautiful kid I've ever seen. I'm trying so much to be respectful. It's amazing. It's amazing.
You've come a long way, John. Come a long way.
I'm trying, man. I don't have any kids, and...
He was very good to her, too. Like, almost like natural dad instincts.
He does have that.
Don't have.
He does have that. My son's seen it. He does have it.
JD, Mike, can you pull up Santa Lucia's?
Come on!
What does that say? It looks like that means you need to walk your ass in the kitchen and get more. She's talking to me or you? Or JD?
Honey, I love you.
Talking to him.
Yeah, he was saying, like, watch, I'm empty. And, like, it was... Apparently, they must have had some bit set up where she was going to come in and give him one, and or that maybe.
Oh, there's no setup.
JD was trying to cut. He was trying to cut a shitty.
This is how good it is, like, and then I got it.
He was cutting a shitty.
I was trying to act like I was the main person in this thing, but no, she's the boss. I tried real quick, thinking she'd be nice.
Sorry, JD, go. Keep going.
No, I was just saying I was trying to be like I was the boss here, but
no,
it doesn't happen.
It's a faux pas.
Yeah, we were trying.
Turn into a thank you party for all the good people, and I haven't mentioned Jim Rogers. For anybody in the chat that doesn't know Jim Rogers, that's a fucking saint right there, man. We used to hate each other in high school because we were both good. JD, this was like way.
He
got it.
She knows.
It was like a bottle of Robitussin.
I was just trying to.
It looked like grape juice.
Kiss
like Robitussin.
I have nothing in the house. It's Mike's black cherry hard lemonade.
Again, in JD's defense, he set that one up for a while. Now go.
Have a cigarette.
No, you got to do the Jim Rogers thing.
Hold on.
Go.
Hold on. I want to interject.
Rob is speaking.
Chat and like the main
Johnny.
goal right now. What?
I want to interject for a
Oh,
second.
The
Rad
Grim
Rob
Reaper
is
speaking.
back. Ladies and gentlemen, Rad Rob is back.
The voice of God. Okay.
The voice of death, actually.
I want to continue the feels tonight because that's where we're at. So, you mentioned that you're really good with kids, Johnny. I think that comes a lot from your dad and what he instilled in you. Your dad would leave, would leave events to go, catch every one of your ball games or whatever. I mean, your dad always put things first. When he goes in the 10th frame during his 300, he's thinking about your college fund. Like, the fact that you're a natural with kids doesn't surprise me. You're a Petraglia.
Well said.
Rob, thank you. And I'm gonna follow that up. My dad always did that, and I do that, but I don't have the integrity and the awesomeness of my dad.
Shut up.
That's not true. Actually, you don't. You haven't had the opportunity's different.
Let me say this. I have that part of my heart, but I don't have the other part of my heart where my entire life is dedicated to everybody else. And I think the reason that the entire world appreciates my dad is because my dad gives every ounce of himself to everybody else. It's the sexiest thing in the world. It's the hardest thing to chase after as a kid. So
one of the top 3 ambassadors this sport's ever seen is your father. One of the top 3.
fuck the sport, man. I'm talking about in general.
That's just goosebumps.
If everybody was like my dad,
the world needs more of your father. Exactly.
Same with you two, Mike and JD. Same with you two. You guys literally go out of your way to make sure that people you love are okay. And the problem with most people is they think that it's all fake, but it's actually not. Like, you guys are so real, and my dad is so fucking real that, like, there's no way I'm going to live up to it. You want to talk about the best dad I've ever seen? He's standing right next to me, even though he doesn't give a fuck with his ass hat shirt, just like Schaefer. But
I only have a year experience, so that's not really truthful.
Again, this goes back to the reason that bowlers are the best people in the world, because bowlers are real people. Real fucking people every day of the week.
She's talking about that.
Jen, tell Ocho you have nice boobs.
I have nice boobs.
That's his wife. Thank you. But, like, honestly, guys.
Johnny, how's her feet?
That's Ocho's wife. I didn't look at her feet or her boobs. But I will tell you guys this, though, that, like, being around people like you and him, this is the reason, like, being alive is cool to me, you know? Like, so to all my bowling fans out there and friends out there, if you ever just want to chill and never get criticized and never get fucking bombarded with nonsense or told that something is wrong, come and hang out with us, because this is the right kind of group right here.
So
that's why people hate us, Johnny. That's why people hate us.
But the damnedest thing is, like, I'm not even really I'm a bowler because I bowl on league, but, like, that's what he said before. I wouldn't have met him if I didn't just happen to be in a bowling league. I wouldn't have met Mike Val, and Mike Val can attest that I'm not a bowler, but boy, do I like going bowling. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's your night out.
I don't even know half the rules, but there's such a damn camaraderie about it where, I don't know, what he was saying before, he would have never met Rob, and he would have never started a show, and now this is the most consistent thing he's done in a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like there's a purity about it.
Dr. Ocho,
you want to know how I met Mike?
I know this one.
I mean, is it worse than him putting his shirt over your face while Mr. Robato's going on standing at a bar?
Or me dancing at the bar?
So I can tell you how I met Mike, and then how he introduced himself to my son last night when we were bowling a double. Different story.
This isn't like a Chris Hansen thing, is it?
So
no, totally kidding.
I was 21. I got married, and she was actually his high school bowling coach.
Yeah.
Nice.
And she used to bring this twerpy, like, stick around with her.
Yeah, that's the
week.
Discipline, you guys, when you didn't keep your, like, back straight or something like that. I bet. I don't know bowling mechanics either. So
First time I ever saw JD throw a ball with that fucking pink AMF thing. That was really good.
Oh, the slam.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was a good one.
That was a really good one. And then once I graduated high school, JD kind of like took me under his wing for a summer or two. Oh man,
I think Ocho would love to hear the Curtis story.
So how Mike, I don't even know.
Ocho needs the Curtis story.
Do you want that one now, or you want to wait on that one, Jeff?
Mike, why don't we hold on, Mike? How old are you anyway? I really
40.
don't remember.
40.
So what? All right. Well, then I'm really out of the loop then. So there's at least the generation blended, because I'm ageless and timeless, so I can coordinate with anybody.
Rosamelia, I couldn't agree more on that statement. So, Ocho, here's the Curtis Lane story.
Okay.
We used to go bowl this tournament up in Ewing on Friday nights, and now it's in Morrisville, Pennsylvania. And we used to go. I used to pick JD up at his grandmother's up in Sayreville or South Amboy, wherever it was, and drive up Route 1, stop at Burrito Royale for dinner.
Shocking.
And then we would go to Curtis up in Ewing. So they had like $1.50 Miller Lights. Oh, there's the sun. How's the sock doing, Junior?
It's full.
So Ocho. So they had $1.50 Miller Lights, right? So, JD in his heyday was kind of like the Andre the Giant of drinking stories.
Right. So his hand engulfed the whole beer and everything, and
yeah. So JD, and you were quite the drinker, but I don't think you could hang with Andre. Let's be honest here, right?
Well, no.
All right. So
understood the comparison.
So I said this one night. I said I'm gonna go beer for beer with JD all night at Curtis, and I wasn't driving. Vic Apria was driving us.
Oh my God! Rest his soul.
Rest in peace, Vic.
Oh shit! You guys
are morbid. Yeah. So I'm going beer for beer with JD. We get done bowling. There's a 9:30 squad. We're done, and we bowled action afterwards. So JD and I bowled doubles against this guy named Pete Tamaro and Eddie Siegel. And by the 5th frame of game 1, I had a 5-bagger, but I'm throwing up in the garbage can between frames. But I can't keep up with him. Ed Siegel, probably early mid-50s at this point, is cursing at me. Get this fucking guy out of the garbage can. I'm gagging. I can't. I learned
that's a way to win, man. That's easily.
I learned.
How would you like to lose to a guy dry heaving on the approach?
I mean, that's got to be the most pressure-packed bowling fucking the last 5 frames you're ever going to see.
I learned the hard way that I could not keep up with that man with a beer.
Live and learn.
Chuck Seuss still owes us a jacket.
Chuck Seuss owes us a jacket, correct. He does.
So, I'm going to interject here, and since we have JD and Mike, I think it's time to talk about the Meteor Show. It's time
The best part about that show. The best part of that show is watching Pompilio walk out of the showboat when JD throws the second one in the gutter.
The best part about that show is Mike Eaton bowled against JD first off, and Mike Eaton and his dad have provided an awesome venue for bowlers. So let's first cheers the Eaton family. Hell yeah! And the second thing is, forget about what JD bowled on that show. I personally want to talk about Mike. I'll get to the frog story with you, but I kind of want to talk to everybody real quick about how important the guy on the bottom of your screen is to me.
He makes me cry and punching him in the face.
I will. I promise. So JD is like 5 or 6 years older than me, and everybody that bowls always follows somebody on. Aside from forget my dad, forget Parker, don't forget them, but for me, my idols growing up I had 4 people. Actually,
can I name them? Can I guess them?
No, I don't think you can, but you can try.
One of them is there. That's one of them.
Yes.
Yep, that guy.
Yes.
I want to say Reisner's a second one.
Keep going, and then I'll tell you my top 5.
He wasn't a big Reisner, wasn't around.
Pompilio's the third one.
Super Beast, 899 Hill Lanes. I wasn't there for it, but
Pompilio's the third one.
Tour Boss 2.
I'm gonna stop there. Those are the three I thought you would have been.
Mike Reeser literally texts me every
now
time he sees
remember,
someone shank a ball.
as fucked up as I am, remember my brain is emotional and like sincere. So the first one for me is obviously JD, because JD, if you told JD to do something with a bowling ball from some arrow, JD can do it. And
Agreed.
his backswing was just short enough. His wrist was just strong enough. His father was always committed. He always did everything so nonchalantly. It was so sexy to me. So I'm first going to brag about the guy that's on our show, and that's JD. My second is Jennifer Russo, because I think Jen is
good. God Almighty!
Yeah.
Well, I'm leaving.
Listen. So my dad used to give this chick Jen Russo lessons, and she used to wear the Phantom shirts.
This is escalating quickly.
The Phantom shirts, right? She had the big horn rim glasses.
This is gonna be bad, JD.
Dude, I am sending her this link to see this.
Can we get her to come into the chat really quick?
Oh my God.
She will tear him apart.
And the best part about Jen was Jen actually gave a shit about the sport more than the surrounding shit that's involved in bowling. Jen always, and she was so good, dude. She was so good. When she drilled that Rhino RE, the ball that Mike Albee threw the 6th sanction televised 300.
Oh, the blue one.
Wearing a Pizza Hut logo. Who wouldn't? Jen was just the best.
By the way, she was incredible with a fire quantum.
I have a question really quick before you continue, John.
All right, so
JD, really
so
quick.
far, Mike,
about Jen, there was a rumor that JD and Jen Russo were on Double Dare together. Is that true?
No, it was me and Walter Hastings. Family Double Dare.
It. You were on with Walter?
Family Double Dare.
Stop it. You and Hastings were on Double Dare?
Family Double Dare. The episode never aired. It was a shit show and a half. It was a mess.
Did he have the Sports Tech zebra glove on?
No, but they had like some bowling thing where my father got hit in the face. It was hysterical.
Carry on.
Picture that old grumpy Italian fuck yelling at Mark Summers.
Be nice to your dad. Be nice to him.
I love Dad. I'm just saying. You know Dad. Picture him yelling at Mark Summers.
By the way, on the way home from the golf course, my dad says to me real quick, he says, John, can you play a song? It's called Stardust. And I hear, and now the crop dust of twilight time. And straight Goodfellas. I'm like, Dad, this is like track 3 on Goodfellas. He's like, so you've heard it. Of course, Dad. Yes, I have. But
I had Funky Cole Medina coming out of the parking lot.
My third is Walter Hastings, because so for all the viewers, in 1994 there was a movie that came out called Greedy, and the stars were Kirk Douglas, Olivia Diabo, and Michael J. Fox. So during that time, Randy Peterson and Michael J. Fox stayed in my house. I was, let's say, 10 years old. And Randy and Michael, all they wanted to do was play Super Mario Brothers. So they used to come in my bedroom late after bowling with Dad and want to play Super Nintendo. But I'm going with, who the fuck did I say was my third? I said Jen Russo, I said JD.
Walter
Hastings. So Walter and Jen Russo bowled a charity match against my dad and Norm Duke at the 1996 JP Open, the year that Walter Hastings bowled 868 with a Jade Piranha C. Let's fucking go, John.
867.
There's a fucking brain.
867. Or was it 866?
267, 300, 299. 866.
JD, do you know who he took the house record from?
Yes.
Capital D-E, capital R-O-S-E.
D Rose.
I got two.
Oh, by the way, your dad only lost that match since everyone knows how much I love Jen. They only won that match because they gave Jen a fucking do-over.
The entire world loved. They gave Bob Learn a do-over also.
That's a good point.
And then he shot 11.29 and averaged 280. And you know what? It was the best thing in the world for the sport. And I appreciate what Johnny Campos did for that. So, like, that's one of the few things that actually. And Parker said, obviously, like, what's Parker gonna? How perfect is Parker? Parker's like, yeah, let him reshoot it. Parker, what are you doing? Calm down, man. Stop being so nice. So that's 3.
I would have clotheslined him on the approach.
My 4th one is Mike Fagan, because I got to watch Mike Fagan since I was like, and
why?
Mike Fagan is just.
When this is done, you gotta ask for Liz what
so
happened.
good. Who are you talking to?
Joseph.
Joseph
wanted here.
Get in here, Joseph.
What am I telling your son, JD? This can't be good.
So now you're running. So then go away.
Family and friends, here is
Joseph.
the spawn of JD. This is Mr. Joseph Santalucia.
The namesake of Johnny Petraglia.
Joseph. So
hold back your enthusiasm, Joseph.
We got to figure out a way to slow down your natural shit because you're like 6'9" now. We got to figure out a way to slow down your ball speed where it's effective.
Or make him play basketball. What are you guys, stupid? Holy shit.
Anybody in the chat that's tall, we need to give this kid lessons because he is too good and he just happens to gas the shit out of it.
Larry Bird was 6'9" and is one of the top 3 greatest players of all time.
Larry's clear.
JD, really quick. Mike Messino is watching this.
Mike Messino,
baby.
Mike Messino, my God.
I want to get Mike Messino and Warren Guernsey on a show one day.
Holy crap. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, Guernsey's fantastic.
Me and Mikey got some stories.
Oh, Guernsey has stories too, dude.
I mean, now Joseph has stories of Johnny yelling at him in his 3rd step on the approach while Johnny was making an illegal delivery because his thumb wasn't in the thumb hole.
Correct.
And Velez is picking his navel, sticking it in Joseph's face, trying to make it throw a ball.
I'm getting the cue that we got to wrap this up, boys, and I am so sorry. I love it.
Okay, fine.
Believe me, I love it.
My last one out of fucking left field is Jose Izales. Because Jose is just a great person. He's just a great person.
That was Jose and what? Mike Moon, right? They were the 2?
I remember Mike Moon.
Mike Moon had a pro.
Jose and Mike Moon always hung out, I think.
Remember him?
Where the mill hole is, he just drilled a hole in there.
And Andrew Miller would have let it go fucking yesterday. That's the whole point of this whole shit.
But Jose always made me happy. Always took care of me. He was amazing. Hey, Brett, we're about to leave.
Andrew Miller. Andrew Miller was a pitcher for the Yankees.
Yes.
Fucking same pitcher for the Yankees is now the freaking.
All right, look, we have 30 seconds left. Let's let Rad Rob start us off. Rad Rob, go.
Where's your Twitter, Rob?
At Rad Rob Gaming.
At the Dr Ocho and at JPJR07. And before we leave real quick, thank you for everybody this is our 80th episode, and the only reason we do this is to bullshit with bowling friends and family, and we bring in people like Mike Val and JD for this exact reason. The only reason we're here is to just connect with bowlers. So
nobody ends this show and goes, "Oh, that sucked." Everybody ends this show and goes, "Man, that was fucking fun."
Yeah, and we'll be back next week. And Mike, thanks for talking about that scumbag that stole all that shit with the fucking goddamn thumb hole. And JD, thanks for a great day on the golf course today. And
thank you for these.
And to all our fans,
what we do, pal.
Thank you guys so much for being here. It really makes the entire night.
We really should thank the good Lord
really
for
awesome.
Ocho. Let's really thank everybody for Ocho.
Thank you guys for being here, Mike.
One more shot for Rad Rob, sick as a dog, and still went out of his way to make this whole thing fucking possible. Rob,
feel better. I'll come on when you're better.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
JD, I want to come back with
wait
JD
some
once.
Popeyes under his nose, like smelling salts, and he's gonna pop up like a vampire. Next week he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm back, baby."
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Sorry,
JD.
Rob. Thank everybody.
Thank you, Mike. Everybody that showed up
Mike,
tonight.
thank you
Later,
again
guys.
for driving me home last night. And JD, thanks for taking care of my dad today.
Anytime, Johnny.
I can't wait to see Stephanie tomorrow when she comes and picks me up and I move into my new house. Steph, I love you. Eric, I love you. Bill and Ben Bleacher, pleasure seeing you. Ben, you look almost too skinny, but I think it's sexy as fuck, and great seeing you guys. And Jeff Kubanak, if you're listening, thanks for being amazing. Just a great day. Just a great day today. It was just a great day. It was a great day last night, Mike. Thanks for trying for 2 hours to get me into my mom's house.
Good night, folks.
CIA last night.
Take it away, Rob.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week on Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good night, everybody.
This poor guy.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightUp5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.